Adult and Teen Challenge Arkansas was not my first choice of place to get help. My personal history with addiction all started with a very small procedure that I had on my back. And once that was over with, I was prescribed with some pretty heavy painkillers. The moment that happened, everything changed. I ended up here because I thought I went to sleep in my house at 3 a.m, but I woke up at midnight the next day in the guest room of my father's house with no idea how I got there.
The day he came here from his mother's house, and he had somehow gotten a lot of medication, and he came here that evening to have supper with us, and he was nearly incoherent. I took his keys from him and made him go to bed in one of our spare bedrooms. He didn't wake up, I guess, 16 hours.
Ross and I had talked about it for about a week, trying to get ourselves to realize that this was real, that he was having a struggle that he couldn't overcome by himself, that he was going to have to take real steps, that just going into short programs was not going to help him. He was going to need people to stand by him for long term.
Debbie had warned me, she tried to make me see it, and I was an atypical father and just didn't want to accept the fact that Alex was in the trouble that he was in. And when that came slamming home to me, that's when I also accepted it, and we put him in the program.
Our program here is very in-depth here at Adult and Teen Challenge. It's a 12-month program until graduation that consists of 3 phases. First phase, they come in, it's 5 months, and they just learn how to reset their mind. Because most people were living homeless, living on the streets, and now we're just trying to get them some sort of structure. And we introduce them to Jesus Christ. And the second 4 months is more in-depth group studies where they have small groups and start learning how to interact with others. And the last 3 months of our phase before graduation is really getting them set back up to enter into life.
I came here and didn't want anything to do with the Christ part of it. I wanted nothing to do with Jesus or anything like that. And so I tried to just fly under the radar until I could get out of this.
You always pray for the best. And in Alex's case, there were some bumpy roads between day 1 and the last day, because at one point he wanted to leave the program because he felt like he'd accomplished what he needed to. And that was a rough patch. It was a rough patch.
It was months down the line and I'm still trying to leave, and my family says, look, you can leave if you want to, but you still can't come home unless you complete this program. Which to some people sounds incredibly harsh, and to me at the time sounded incredibly harsh. But that was absolutely the best thing they could have done for me. I had to accept the fact that I truly needed to get all the help I could, and that help could only come from Jesus. Addiction was the symptom of the problem of a lack of life, a lack of focus, some kind of hurt in the past, some sort of destructive tendency, whatever it is. Something caused that person to turn to addiction, to forget. And so we take the addiction out. Most of the time we're not even talking about drugs and alcohol and things like that. Because if we learn to live a new life with Christ, everything else falls to the wayside when it comes to addiction.
I got way more out of it than I expected, because I never experienced putting anybody into a program like that before, and the differences that it made in him are, I couldn't have asked for any more, and it's just more than I expected.
God dropped his spirit back into him. There is this person that we hadn't seen in so long. He's actually going to have a life, and it's going to make such a difference, and it's going to be so much fun to watch who he can be and what he can accomplish now.
Before I came here, I was broken, addicted, hopeless, and just generally not a good person to be around. Now, I'm married. We have 2 children, with another one on the way. I can't even express how much different it is to be genuinely joyful. And I get to live this life with my wife and my children. And I got my family back, my mother, my father, my stepmother, my stepfather, my brothers, my sisters, all of it. God brought all of that back, even after everything I did. There's nothing that compares to that.